Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special comparison showcase we're going to be looking at the 2017 Power of the Primes toy lines, especially the little Prime Masters. We're going to be comparing them with the original Generation 1 small and standard Pretenders. So in a second I'm going to pick the camera up and we're going to have a look at these in much more detail. Now the purpose of this video and why it's come around is because I've been posting lots of pictures on my Instagram, which is toys_rus, and I think I must have quite a few younger followers than I have on my YouTube, as a lot of them didn't even realise that these little Prime Masters had original toys. So the purpose of this video is of course just to show you them. I'm also lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging, so we can have a look at how the packaging differed between Hasbro and Japanese releases, and we can also look how the packaging differed between the standard and the small Pretenders. Right then, so what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at these, and again the essence of these is the fact that they are still Pretenders, but with the new little Power of the Primes, the little Prime Masters here. They are still, as I say, Pretenders. I'll show you how they go in a second when I've put the camera down. I'm just holding at the moment, but we can see obviously that the older figures were much bigger. They also had the inner robots as well, but the inner robots were actually able to transform. So Skullgrin actually had his prime, what should we say, his Prime Master was of course the Liege Maximo, and this was signified by the little signs on the back. Now I actually play the Transformers Earth Wars games, and all of these Prime Masters are actually Prime Cores in the game. Right, so now we've got Cloudburst, and then we've got Metal Hawk right next to them. I'll come to Metal Hawk in a minute. Cloudburst and his Prime Master was Micronus, which is this little guy here. Now what I've got behind as well, I've got the Japanese variant of Cloudburst. We'll have a look in a second. His name was Phoenix. You can see how they package them differently straight away. Moving on to Metal Hawk. This was a Japanese exclusive from the Super God Master Force toy line in 1988. So the first three figures, and in fact Submarauder, you can see there, these were all released in 1988 originally. Now Metal Hawk is quite a bit different from the rest because that gold, you can see it's not gold plastic, it's actually die cast. And as I've said, he was an actual exclusive in Japan. And although, in fact, we'll do Submarauder first. So we've got Submarauder there. In fact, I forgot to tell you that Metal Hawks is Vector Prime and Submarauder is Alchemist Prime. And again, it's just these little symbols on the back. Now, although the double header doesn't actually have one, I've just shown you that to show the packaging detail and difference. So the packaging for the small Pretenders, funnily enough, is very similar to how, of course, these little Prime Masters were packaged in the little case like that. So yeah, you had the main shell and then the little robot next to it, and they were quite large cards, as I'm sure you can see. So for those of you who are unaware or who want to know, up to Metal Hawk was wave 1, so the first three there were wave 1 of the Power of the Primes. Wave 2 was Submarauder and Landmine, which is down here, so we'll start on this side, and there we go. Also while we're here, we've got the Japanese variant, which he was known as Lander, and he was actually a mail away, so you couldn't buy him at standard retail. Landmine was his little Prime Master, was Alpha Trion. Right, while we're down here at the bottom, I'll show you the main difference between the packaging between the Hasbro and the Takara, and that is that you could literally, if you fold the flap up there, you see the figure is actually inside, and then we've got all this amazing artwork and showing you all about it on the inside. So there was a huge, as I'm sure you can see, difference between the Hasbro releases and the UK, and it was probably due to do with the fact that, I'm sorry, the Takara, not the UK, the Takara ones had an actual cartoon in Japan. So right, we'll go back over to this side because this was wave 3, so that is Bombburst there. And as you can see, I've put in front the fact that these inner robots actually transformed as well, so they weren't just inner robots. We've got Metal Hawk's box there, great bit of artwork on the front. Moving over to Bludgeon, Ken, they're both called Bludgeon, but his was Quintus Prime on the inside, and then Octopunch was Solus Prime. So these were referred to as the small Pretenders because, as you can see, they are much smaller. So Landmine is obviously quite a bit bigger than Octopunch, and of course Bombburst, as you can see there, is much bigger than Bludgeon. So we had small and normal size Pretenders with the Generation 1 releases, but the big difference was, as I say, the little robot's inside. There he is in robot mode, and there he is in his crab mode. They did all actually transform. So let's just have a quick look then at how the little Power of the Primes ones work. Pretty much exactly the same. So you've got the Pretender shell, you fold it down. The little guys, they've got a bit of articulation, you can move their arms. Yep, just about. And the legs, and they fold over like this. Oh, there goes a figure, but you just missed it. But to hide them, same as the normal Pretenders, you pop them inside the shell, and then there you go. So the whole theme and the main essence of the Pretenders is still there. But there you go. As I say, for people who didn't know, it could be vice versa. Obviously, the younger people could not be aware that the Pretenders were already released a few years ago. And of course, for the older people, they might be a bit like, didn't know that they had the smaller versions. But there you go. Hope you found this interesting. No, again, they're not everyone's cup of teas, but keep your suggestions coming forward, and I can do as many comparisons as you'd like me to. But there we go. We've got the Power of the Primes, teeny Prime Master Pretenders compared with the original Generation 1 selves. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe.